All right, guys, I want to tell you an important aspect of becoming better at business with time that I think is generally overlooked. And that is it's your ability to visualize more and more complex systems. Okay, it's your ability to visualize more and more complex systems. When I did my very first project, all I could really visualize was, okay, so there's this forum where there's already traffic, no problem. So I'm gonna make a post in this forum, right? So I make a post, it's a sales letter, it has a buy button. That buy button is connected to some payment platform where I wrote out my stuff. I wrote out some information about the product and did some other settings and blah, blah, blah. And then when they buy it, they go through to an upsell and that has some sales stuff. And then they go through to another upsell and that has some stuff. And then they get delivered the product on a web page. And that's kind of like, you know, not very difficult to visualize because you're kind of like, all right, web page, customer goes to web page, forum post, reads it, clicks the buy button, goes over here, maybe buys this, goes over here, maybe buys this, and then they get the content. It's kind of like not very difficult at all. The thing is, when I was doing that project, that was the most that I could visualize. I couldn't see a more complex system in my head. However, as you work on more and more projects, it's very important that you pay attention to ensuring that you're trying hard to work on more and more complex systems. In fact, one of the techniques I use to do this, to get better at this, is nowadays, when I'm working on some particular system, I'll deliberately make the system more complicated than it needs to be, just so I can practice working on a more complicated system. Now, this is only super relevant if your goal really is to just go up and up and up and up and up in business, right? Because think about the people who run the most complex companies, right? Like really complex companies with 100,000 employees or something like that, something like GE or 3M or like something HSBC or something. The people who are in the most important roles in that company, like the CEO or something like that, they're coming up with these projects and they're trying to assess. They're not necessarily coming up with the whole project, but everything kind of like comes down to them in a way. It's like, it's their decision, like whether we do this or whether we do that. And for them to be able to make that decision, it has to be fairly instinctual. You can't make that a decision that's that complex based on like, oh, I did a little Euler's formula mathematical calculation here and I've determined based on the result that we should do that. That's not going to happen. It's instinctual. It's based on experience, it's based on your feel, and it's based on your ability to foresee how the future will likely go. You know, that kind of game theory thing, that instinctual game theory, not mathematical game theory, just instinctual game theory, like weighing up, like, oh, what if that happens? And I feel like the optimum thing is kind of this, right? They have to use like this instinctual game theory. And to be able to do that well, to use this, what I call instinctual game theory, you have to be able to visualize everything. You have to be able to, not everything, you have to be able to visualize a lot. The more and more you can visualize, and the more you can visualize the system working in like a dynamic way and all the processes happening and how things interact with each other, the better your intuition, the stronger your gut feel for the right move is going to be. So if that's your destination for yourself, if you're seeing yourself running like very complex projects, then now you can see why it's so important that you pay attention to your ability to do this visualization thing. How do you do it? How do you get better at it? Well, It's fairly complicated for sure, and there's no simple like 5-step process to become better at it. I think what's the most important thing to allow you to get better at it is to simply care about it, and to give it your attention at all times. Like whenever you're looking at any particular system, if it's a small system or it's a big system, try to visualize the system, right? And you can do this not only in your own business, but you can do this by looking at the world, right? Well, why do you think like international politics is so difficult to comprehend? Because there's so many different components and so many different players with different intentions and stuff, and you can't figure it out. You're like, what's this Putin guy over here doing? What's this Trump guy over here doing? And then there's this Xi guy, he's a big player too. And you're just like, I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a total mystery because the system is too complex. But I guarantee you, those guys, they're like, oh yeah, okay, price of oil, this, economy, that, you know, all these complicated things, and they can just see it happening, right? When someone like Trump goes and makes some judgment about the, like, oh, I'm gonna have this new tax plan. He's not like, oh, let me do a little calculation. Oh yeah, it looks like the economy is going to save X billion dollars. Oh, according to the calculations I did, it's good. No. It's because he can see the flow and the movement and the dynamic changing of the economy and just how things will impact different things. And then he can go, yeah, this is a good thing. Like if we do this, it will be good. It's not based on numbers. It's just based on looking at the system and detecting the efficiency of the system and feeling it. And looking at the existing system and then the new system that he's visualizing, and then just knowing, oh yes, this is better. Because that's how you have to ultimately do things. You can't, don't visualize yourself ending up doing things by a calculation way. Like visualize yourself ending up doing things by a very intuitive way. Okay, so you know you need to end up there. So just pay attention to it. Really engage your brain and really try to visualize all the systems that you're coming up with, that exist out in the world, that clients are coming up with, that your team members are coming up with, anything like that. Just really try to visualize it and see the components, see how the components function, see how they interface with the other components in the system, see how each component becomes better or worse based on the action, you know, more efficient or less efficient based on the action of some other component in the system. Try to see how it all ties together. See if you can visualize, like, when these all work together, what problems, like, see if you can predict, like magically predict, like what problems or opportunities or threats are going to like emerge out of the system. Like you have no idea. It's like what could possibly happen? Or like do thought experiments and like, what if the system was running in this way? What if the system was running in that way? What would happen? What would that lead to? And what would that create? And how would that come back and influence the system in a different way? And how would it change things? Start thinking like this, and that's going to really, really improve your ability to, oh my God, do everything. Like visualize systems, run projects, predict the future, forecast, organize people to work on certain things and be more efficient, all those sorts of things. Anyway, a bit of an obscure one there, but very useful. Hope you found it useful as well. See you in the next one. Bye.